guest at the Texas State Penitentiary in Huntsville, and his mama had just died of ovarian cancer. The social worker seemed to think Travis was Henry's only living kin, not serving time behind bars. Yep, definitely hard not to feel sorry for the kid. Travis pushed the remote on the visor and waited for the gate to open. And waited. God damn it. That's a bad word, Henry spouted. The remote for the gate didn't work. Travis got out, turned off the fucking truck so Henry wouldn't chide him about it, and trudged over to open the gate manually. A white piece of paper flapped in the breeze. You are in violation of Agricultural Code 246.4b again. It is not my responsibility to keep your cows off my property. It is yours. Fix your dang fences. Travis yanked the note off the gate, crumpled it up, and dropped it. Litter bug! Henry was in prime form. He'd fallen asleep in the car seat, something he invariably did about 3 minutes before they got wherever it was they were going. Stopping the truck was like poking a nest of hornets, and that's why Travis had left it idling. He leaned over and grabbed the wadded piece of paper, held it up for Henry to see, and then shoved it in his pocket. The gate groaned loudly as he pushed it to the post and hitched it on the wire. Then he got back in the truck, started it, drove through the gate, stopped the truck, turned the goddamn thing off while giving Henry the evil eye, and climbed out to close the gate behind him. By the time he finally got back in, an audience had lined up on either side of the lane. Young bulls on one side and heifers on the other. At least those fence lines were holding. The same couldn't be said for the one separating his east pasture from Honey Mackie's apple orchard. The crazy old lady kept leaving him threatening notes. He'd patched the fence multiple times, but it didn't hold. It needed to be completely replaced. The only things required were time and money, both of which were in short supply. The herd followed them along as they drove up the lane, even though the bed of the truck was loaded with a lawnmower and a weed whacker, tools of his temporary trade, and not hay. Henry waved at the cows until the truck turned left at the split and continued up to the house. The windmill rose above the trees as they hit the top of the hill, and Travis automatically depressed the accelerator at the tug of its familiar silhouette. His dad, always full of cowboy dictums, had said windmills made a horse's hooves trot a little faster and a man's heart long for hearth and home. The effect it had on Travis was surprising, since neither hearth nor home had ever quite risen to the occasion. Unlike the windmill, the side of the house stirred no warm, fuzzy feels. The attic windows stared angrily like a glowering monster. A new coat of paint would probably do wonders, make the place more Southern living and less Amityville horror. "Let me out!" Henry said. Then he convulsed and rocked in his seat until Travis reached back and sprung him. "Stay out of the cookies! You've got to eat supper first!" Henry jumped down, leaving supper, a greasy paper bag from the drive-thru hamburger joint, on the seat next to his backpack. It was the best Travis could do after a long day at work, where he'd grubbed, dug, and planted at the village chateau, the fanciest hotel in Big Verde. And when he was done with all that, he'd help get the place ready for Annabelle Vasquez's Halloween party. She'd kept a watchful eye on him as he'd installed a fake graveyard and set up a pumpkin patch. He'd politely turned down the invitation Anna had offered when he left. He didn't much care for parties, and this one seemed especially awful as it required a costume. He shivered at the thought as he followed Henry through the back door. Anna had also invited him to bid on a landscaping project for her new house. He turned that down, too. For one thing, he didn't intend to remain in Big Verde long enough to complete a lavish Annabelle-style project that he was woefully unqualified to install. For another, it wasn't a good idea to work for someone you'd slept with. Fishnet thigh-high stockings with silly bows on the back and a skirt so short it might be illegal, both in red. Maggie sighed. Why had she trusted Claire to rent a Halloween costume for her? She kicked off her sensible shoes and tossed her jacket on the bed while eyeing her best friend and coworker, who had never owned a pair of sensible shoes in her life.